Hello everybody and welcome back to Ant Holleufer. Today we are looking at my Camponotus Herculeanus colony and they all died. And this is not clickbait because the title and the thumbnail is a little bit clickbaity. My whole Camponotus Herculeanus colony dropped dead. They were all dead and they all came back to life. Now this is my favorite colony, and due to this being my favorite colony, I didn't want to record while this all happened because I was so sad. So I took a little Instagram story, and well, this little Instagram story you're about to see slowly evolved to a bit of a longer Instagram story. So if you've already seen this story, there'll be timestamps down below so you can skip the Instagram story if that's something you don't want to re-see. So when the Instagram story is done, I will share my thoughts on what happened and why it happened, and in the end there'll be a little bit of a general colony update. So yeah, that is what we are about to see. So before we start the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon while you are down there. And else, Holleuffers, enjoy the video. So I pretty much just got home and I went in to check on my ants because I needed to feed them. And the whole Camponotus Herculeanus colony have drowned in a water that I can't even see myself. I mean, I guess that is the reason. Because there's water in there. Around 18 workers, I think. Not too sure, maybe 19 workers. And a really good pile of brood. And some dead workers. And this was my favorite species I've kept so far in my entire ant keeping career. So yeah. Nice start to the weekend, I guess. Really good, nice start to the weekend. And I don't even know what to do, to be honest. I'm not sure why it happened, but I think it's because it's so hot in Denmark at the moment. It's 35 degrees outside. And I think, I don't know. I don't know what went wrong. Can't see water, just can see a little bit of contents thing around. I don't know. So I put them as this little outworld, because maybe the queen will wake, but I don't know. But just didn't want them to be in the test tube, so maybe she wakes up, I don't know. We'll see. But such a nice brood pile, and I was ready to move them into a little nest, and yeah. Can't see, I'm shaking because I'm so upset that they have died. But the queen is twitching a very little bit. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe she can wake up. Maybe she's just dead. I have decided to just put them out in the heat just for 1 minute or so to help them dry a little. But as you can see, the larvae have started moving a little bit. The queen is twitching a little bit. Some of the other workers are twitching a little bit. But the worst thing is, what do I do with all this larvae if they don't wake up? To be honest, I don't think they will wake up, but I mean, some of the workers are twitching a little bit, so you never know. Okay, third update I think on the girls. And I don't know if it's just my screen that's really dark or it's dark real, but the queen has woken up, it seems like. Yeah, I think she has woken up, but she has moved a little bit. Not 100% sure, but I think she may have waken up. So I'll make a new test tube because again, I don't know what went wrong, but I'll make a new test tube for them. So hopefully they will move in there, and hopefully the queen is all right. Although I'm not sure, but hopefully she is. And the worker seems confused, but they are moving a little bit around. So I gave them some sugar water because maybe they want a little bit of sugar water, or this is actually sunburst, but yeah. So yeah, I'll rehook a test tube and oh. Okay, that is really good looking. So I'll rehook a test tube, turn the light off, and hopefully they will move into the new test tube. Next little update. I was expected to move the colony into this nest in a few weeks, but I just didn't want to put them in a test tube after my disaster. I think, I don't know how much of the colony is dead or whatever, but I'll give them some peace now, and hopefully they will recover. So a lot of people have been wanting an update on them, and I do want an update myself. So I don't know if they're around an hour later or something. So without disturbing them too much, I can see that, what do we have? But as you can see, they're all really just confused, just kind of, yeah, standing here. All really confused. I think I'm gonna take the lid off just to give them some air, because I'm still not quite sure what happened, but I want to just give them some ventilation if something were to happen. But yeah, it looks like a lot of them have woken, and as you can see, they're moving a little bit around. So I just took the tinfoil away and checked on them and took the lid off, and no reaction from any of the workers, which just shows that they're still in a state of weirdness. But there were 4 workers in total that was still not moving, so I think there was around 14 workers moving, which is just incredible compared to what we saw earlier today. So it's a new day, and I think we should end the story of the Camponotus Herculeanus. But this morning I went in and just put the tinfoil on this nest instead of the entire nest, and I could see all the brood was already inside, and immediately I saw the queen was searching for a way away from the light, and she popped into the tube and into the nest. In the outworld we have 4 workers, all alive, and I will now do the first real check of how the nest looks inside. And this is the inside. So again, a bit too humid, a bit too hot for Camponotus, but they look to be all alive and in good shape. Also, I just put some tinfoil because I want it to be extra dark, even though the red might be enough. But yeah, that has been the end of the Camponotus Herculeanus. Today, the colony has become less weird, meaning they have all moved inside the nest. And talking about the setup, this is a founding high-tech ants nest in the plaster version, hooked up with a DIY outworld. Though they are all inside the nest, I'm not really sure how much damage the queen and the workers have taken. Only time will tell. The only thing I can say for sure is they definitely haven't been acting the same since the accident. But what did happen? To give a little backstory, the colony was currently moving from an old test tube to a new test tube. I do this by putting the test tubes together with a little bit of tubing. When you do this method, no air will enter the tube. But by opening the connection once every 2 to 3 days, the ants will have more than enough air inside the tube, and I have used this method for over a year without any problems until now. As this was an Instagram story, people kept asking me what happened and started to come up with their own theories to why the colony had died. The first thing we very quickly concluded was that the ants hadn't drowned. There was too little water, and how would they have drowned in the second tube? And why did they suddenly come back to life when they were placed inside the outworld? This is a theory of what happened that Aesthetic, WaKooshi and many other people through social media have helped me realize. Maybe you think something else? Let me know in the comments down below. To find the answers, we have to look at how ants breathe. Ants don't have lungs like humans, instead they take in oxygen from pores on their skin. One likely theory is that due to the crazy heat in Denmark that one day, the water inside the test tube began to evaporate at an extremely high rate, creating a humid level that stopped the ants from being able to breathe. Slowly small droplets of water formed around the tube, and these small droplets also started forming on the skins of the ants. And this was slowly starving the ants of the vital oxygen, and this probably caused the whole colony to pass out. This would also explain why the water began to condense inside both tubes. As both tubes were connected, this stopped the humid air from being able to properly escape, like it would in a normal test tube setup with a cotton block. Luckily, by the time I got back, it would seem that they had not been like this for too long. I was so sad that the whole colony had died, and originally I thought they had drowned, so I didn't know what to do, and instead of just throwing them out, I wanted to put them in the outworld to maybe see if that would help them get back to life. Without knowing, I had probably saved the whole colony, because now the moist air had finally a place to disappear, and the ants could slowly start to breathe once again. Hopefully this video can document the revival of my Camponotus Herculeanus colony, and I know that a lot of people told me they were dead, but I just didn't want to throw them out because I just couldn't throw away my favorite colony. Hopefully this will save other colonies with people who might experience a similar situation. Like I said in the beginning, this may have long time effects to the queen and the workers, and they may never recover. But I may also be extremely lucky and they might just forget about it all. Only time will tell. But now the accident is over and the colony is in this high-tech ant's nest. But how are they doing for real? Well, as you can see, there's a really nice pile of brood scattered all over the nest, and well, the colony is pretty much like the colony always is, not moving that much. And while recording this pile of larvae, I suddenly saw that the workers actually feeding one of the small larvae. Now, I'm not sure it's called Tropholoxus when they are feeding a larvae and not a worker, but please let me know if it's the same or not in the comments down below. I just found it nice to see because it's always weird thinking about how they feed the small larvae. I mean, it's easy to see how they feed the big larvae, but it is completely the same they're doing. They're just hitting that small little larvae mouth and giving them some nutrition. And just in general, I love this species. They are just so beautiful and cool looking, and I just love that they're standing so still so you can get these beautiful shots of them. But again, from the outside, you don't really see much movement. And ever since I moved them into this new nest, they haven't really been active in the outworld at all. They weren't that active before, but now when I feed them, I don't see them at all out in the outworld. Now the next day I do see that they have taken the food inside, so they are out and feasting and checking the outworld out. But clearly they are a lot more shy than before the accident. And it is okay for me, because I mean, I don't have to see my ants in the outworld if they don't feel comfortable. I just want them to feel comfortable and be safe. But I love the size of these workers. You can just see the Tropholoxus, and yeah, I'm so glad that this colony has survived. And talking about this colony, we recently got the first media. Now, I'm not sure if I say media correct, but this is not a major and it's not a small normal worker. It is the thing in between. So this is called a media because it's not a major, it's not giant worker, but it's the first really large worker we have had. And it's so beautiful, and I can't wait to get even more of these medias. And you can just see how small the larvae are compared to the head of the media. The larvae is, I mean, it's crazy to see that these small larvae eventually grow all the way up to become this large of an ant. And it's just so beautiful. Now, looking around the nest, we don't really see any eggs or cocoons. As far as I can see, there's larvae all over the nest. And that is because the queen, she lays eggs every few weeks, and then she lays like 10 to 20 eggs. And you can see around the nest there's some larger pile of larvae, and there are some smaller piles of larvae. And that's just something you have to remember while keeping Camponotus, because in around a month's time or so there'll be a lot of cocoons, a lot of big larvae, but no eggs, like a few weeks back. But that is how most Camponotus species work. The queen will produce a lot of eggs, then take a break, and then produce a lot of eggs once again. But Holleufer's, I can't get over how beautiful this colony is. When I saw they were all dead, I was so close to crying, and I remember I went out and hugged my fiancé, and we were just standing there for a minute, and I was so sad. I was devastated because I have been in love with this colony for such a long time. Since they grow so slow, you just get a special bond to them because you count the workers every few weeks, and you get so excited when you see that there's even more workers than last time. And I mean, compared to the last episode, we had 4 workers, I think. Maybe we had 5, but around 4 to 5 workers. And today there are 18 workers. I was so happy and excited to make this video, and then they were all dead. But then something made them all wake up again, and I'm so grateful, because this is my favorite colony, and I'm not sure that any other colonies are able to take it away from this colony, especially not with this whole accident. And yeah, Holleufer's, that has been it for this video. Just such a crazy week with seeing all my ants being dead, and then seeing them all start to wake up again, and now having all 18 workers plus the queen all alive is just such a crazy video. But yeah, Holleufer's, that has been it for this video, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see all of you in another video. Bye!